Honorable Principal Sister Merlin, dear sisters, teachers, and all my lovely friends. Today, JPIC Club is going to conduct an interactive session and a short assembly to remember the victims of Holocaust. The Holocaust is not just a story of the past, it is a warning for the future. Today, we are not just revisiting history, we are engaging in a conversation that bridges the past with our present. The Holocaust, a period of immense human suffering and moral failure, is not merely a historical event confined to textbooks. It is a reflection of the dangers that prejudice, unchecked power, and indifference can pose to any society. Even today, echoes of those lessons resonate in our world, where similar patterns of hatred, discrimination, and violence are visible. This session aims to examine the Holocaust and its relevance in understanding the contemporary issues around us. During World War II, the Holocaust witnessed the systemic persecution and murder of 6 million Jews and millions of others, including people with disabilities, political dissidents, and more, under the Nazi regime. It was not just about one man's hatred, but about the silence and complicity of millions. Now, let us witness a PPT prepared by Shrishti Sarsaiya, Prananya Rai, and myself Aradhya Nayak, depicting the deadliness of Holocaust.
There may be times when we are powerless to stop injustice, but there must never be times when we fail to protest. Today we are here to describe the horrifying scenes which took place during the practice of Holocaust. Pre-war, Jews were living in every part of Europe before Nazis came into power 1933. Approximately 9 billion Jews, Poland and Soviet Union had largest populations. They would be found in all walks of life, be it farmers, doctors, teachers.
Anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism is prejudice against or hatred of Jews. The Holocaust is history's most extreme example of anti-Semitism. Jews were accused for many problems. For instance, people blame Jews for the Black Death that killed thousands of people in Europe in the Middle Ages. Political leaders used anti-Semitism as a tool and relied on ideas of racial science to portray Jews as a race rather than a religion. The Nazi teachers began to apply the principles of racial sciences by measuring the skull size and nose length and recording the students' eye and hair color in order to determine whether the students belonged to the Aryan race.
Weimar Republic. After Germany lost World War, a new government was formed, called Weimar Republic. Many Germans were upset. Not only they had lost World War, but now they had to repay to all the countries that they had damaged in the war. The total bill was $70 billion. Estimates blamed the Jews for this defeat and a German foreign minister who was a Jew in reaching a settlement with the Allies.
Totalitarian state. Totalitarianism is the total and complete control of a government over a country which suppresses basic human rights, demonstrates aggressive policies, and where the government is capable of indiscriminate and unreasonable execution. The Nazis used propaganda to promote their anti-Semitic ideas. One such book was the children's book, The Poisonous Mushroom.
Persecution. The Nazi plan for dealing with the Jewish population evolved in 3 steps. First, expulsion, get them out of Germany. Second, containment, get them all together in one place, namely ghettos. Third, final solution, annihilation. The final solution, the Nazis aimed to control the Jewish population by forcing them to live in areas called ghettos. Ghettos were mainly designated for the Jews only. They were established across all over the occupied Europe, especially in the areas where there was already a large Jewish population. Death camps were the means used by the Nazis to achieve the final solution. There were total 6 death camps. Each used gas chambers to murder the Jews.
Resistance. Despite the high risk, some bold individuals attempted to resist Nazism. The White Rose movement protested Nazism, though not Jewish policy, in Germany. The White Rose signifies purity and innocence in the face of evil, and hence named the White Rose movement.
Rescue. Less than 1% of non-Jewish population helped the Jews in some or the other way of rescue. A Swedish diplomat, Raoul Wallenberg, worked at Hungary for providing Swedish passports.
Aftermath. The International Military Tribunal took place in Nuremberg in Germany in 1945 and 1946, where 12 prominent Nazis were executed. Most Nazis claimed to just have followed the orders, which was considered as an invalid defense. Many camps had dead bodies lying in piles, like cordwood, and many people died even after the liberation. In conclusion, remembering, learning, and discussing about the Holocaust is important not only because it helps us gain a better understanding of the past, but because it also raises awareness regarding the contemporary forms of anti-Semitism, xenophobia, and hatred. The lessons of Holocaust are not Jewish, but universal. And unfortunately, the lessons remain relevant today. We must learn from the past to ensure a better future for all.
The Holocaust showed us how dangerous it can be when a society becomes indifferent to the suffering of others and let ideologies of hate to fester unchecked. But why should we discuss the Holocaust today? Because many of the rise in hate speech and discrimination. Just like the propaganda used by the Nazis to spread anti-Semitic ideologies, today we see a rise in hate speech targeting certain communities on social media and in public discourse. This rhetoric often leads to violence and marginalization. For instance, recent cases of racial attacks, Islamophobia, or the persecution of religious minorities across the world. Ethnic cleansing and genocide. The Holocaust serves as a reminder of what happens when unchecked hatred escalates. Presently, we see ethnic cleansing in places like Myanmar and reports of atrocities against Uyghur Muslims in China. These situations demand our attention and action, much like the Holocaust demanded the world's response.
Millions of Jews were displaced during the Holocaust, denied refuge by many nations. Even today, millions of refugees from war-torn countries such as Syria, Ukraine, and Afghanistan face similar issues, struggling for safety and dignity.
Indifference and inaction. One of the key challenges of the Holocaust is that silence is complicity. Even now, global inaction towards climate change, human rights violation, and rising authoritarianism mirrors the apathy of those who ignore the plight of Holocaust victims. Resurgence of extremism. In the recent years, we've seen the resurgence of the neo-Nazi groups, white supremacist ideologies, and political leaders promoting nationalism at the cost of human rights.
This is a chilling reminder of how fragile democracy and tolerance can be.
Now, let's open this discussion to reflect on these ideas. Do you think the global refugee crisis today mirrors the plight of Holocaust survivors who sought the asylum? How can we, as individuals, contribute to create a more inclusive society? To put it simply, global refugee crisis occurs when people are forced to leave the country. The word asylum means protection given to people in danger.
The global refugee crisis today mirrors the plight of Holocaust survivors who sought asylum because they both are caused due to the global refugee crisis as it happened due to civil war scenarios and the violation of human rights, economic hardships and prosecution. And they both led refugees to flee to another countries or to seek asylums. We as individuals can try to eliminate discrimination
and inequality from society and promote the dignity of individuals and human rights to prevent prosecution. This can lead to an inclusive society in which everyone can share their views. And it eventually leads to a democratic society.
Thank you. That was an insightful approach.
Why should we recognize and challenge hate speech and discriminatory behaviors in our own communities? To make it simple, why should we raise our voice against ill speaking and discrimination in our communities?
As students and global citizens, you hold the power to break cycles of hatred. Here are 3 simple but powerful actions you can take. First, educate yourselves and others. Learn about the historical events like the Holocaust and share the lessons with those around you. Second, speak out. Whether it's online or in person, challenge hate speech and discrimination whenever you see it. Third, promote empathy. Engage in conversations with people from diverse backgrounds and listen to their stories. Understanding breeds compassion.
The Holocaust is a painful chapter of human history, but it is also a mirror for our present and a guide for our future. If we let its lessons slip away, we risk repeating its horror. We must ask ourselves is not just what happened then, but also what are we doing now. Thank you.